The bandwidth for this episode of Gun Guy Radio is sponsored by the Firearms Radio Network. Firearmsradio.tv.
Welcome to episode 91 of Gun Guy Radio. This is the podcast that shines a positive light on the firearms lifestyle. I'm your host, Jake Challand, and this is your weekly dose of positive firearms talk without the politics. And Brownhouse helps make this episode of Gun Guy Radio possible. Selection, service, and satisfaction. Find it all at Brownhouse. Go to gunguyradio.com/satisfaction. And a special guest, Jared Octor from New Jersey is with us, shooting or sporting clays extraordinaire.
Yeah, it's something like that. Hey, Jake, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
So, yeah, very excited. We're going to talk a little sporting clays. This is like a running theme on this show, something I know nothing about. So,
oh, good. I'm hoping to give you a little knowledge and hopefully turn you on to it because it is a lot of fun.
Oh, I can't wait. Well, let's hit a few announcements first. So we have an Android app now for the Firearms Radio Network. That's right. If you're one of those non-Apple people, one of those people that's like, Apple is evil. I don't do Apple, Jake. I can't do an iTunes review. I don't swing that way. Well, now you can get all the Firearms Radio Network shows on Android. So there's a link in the show notes here. We're running a special on it for 99 cents for the first month here. And then it goes to $3.99 or $2.99. I can't remember which. But anyways, you can also search for it in the Google Play Store. Just search Firearms Radio Network. I don't have an Android device, so I assume, however you buy apps on there, you just search for it. What do you run, Jared? iPhone or Android?
Yeah, the iPhone. So the app stores.
You're one of those Apple people. So there's also links on the firearmsradio.tv website. So yeah, 99 cents. It's basically the Firearms Radio Network's master feed. Just scrolls right through there, and you can pick up all the latest shows. So and the shows that we put up as pilots as well. So I should create like a short little link that I can say like firearmsradio.tv/Android. I need to make myself a note now. And shout out to the developer that helped us out with the Android app here. I could try to pronounce his name, but I would just butcher it like all the other names I say. But you know who you are. Thank you so much for developing the Firearms Radio Network app for Android. And he said if we sell enough to pay, for this one to pay for itself, he'll start working on the iOS, the Apple app too. So that would be cool.
Oh, that'd be great.
And I need to, Brad, the Firearms Radio Network Chief IT Officer, or whatever we call you, Brad, I'm calling you out. I know you have a Windows Phone app for the Firearms Radio Network that you're just keeping under wraps here. Let's get that out to the public for the other two people that use a Windows Phone. But then we'll be covered because, what other phones are there? Android, Windows, BlackBerry, I guess. I don't know.
Are they even still around?
BlackBerry's kind of up in the air now. Last I heard was that Lenovo might be buying them. So
I mean, that was the thing to have back in the day, was a BlackBerry.
It was.
With the BBM messages and everything. And then, Apple took care of that.
Yeah, Apple took care of a lot of things.
Yeah.
So we're also beginning working on the Roku channel soon, Brad. And we hope to launch this by Christmas, so that will be very exciting because we're doing a lot of these shows in video. Like right now we're doing a live show via Google Hangouts. So to be able to sit down on your TV and just click into the Firearms Radio Network Roku channel will be very cool, where you can catch all the shows just like you're watching TV. And long term, my vision is that we do more than just these talking head podcasts, that we do more of a production style show down the road. So, Jared, do you last week we did the episode on cutting the cord. Do you stream any of your entertainment, any of your TV, or do you watch it all through satellite or cable still?
Yeah, no, all my TV is through satellite, and I know I'm getting raked over the coals for the cost of it, but I don't really watch a lot of TV, and I haven't gotten into streaming it yet. But I mean, it's something I'm not opposed to. I just haven't crossed that bridge yet.
Sure.
So, I mean, do you have positive experiences with it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my wife and I, we haven't paid for cable or satellite for the last 6 years, I think. We've streamed everything, so it's been great. No looking back. Now, if you're like a big football guy, if you watch a lot of sports like that, it's they don't necessarily stream stuff like that. But other than that, you can probably get what kinds of shows do you watch? Dancing with the Stars?
Well, absolutely. I mean, No, I watch a lot of Discovery Channel. I like the Animal Planet shows, Call the Wild Man.
Sure, yeah. A lot of those are free on Amazon Prime or Netflix. I mean, well, not free, but, Amazon Prime is $80 a year, and then Netflix is $8 a month, and I see a lot of those show up. So,
and I can't miss my Duck Dynasty.
Well, the first season, I just worked. That's funny you mentioned that. The first season showed up on, I think, Amazon, maybe both. But yeah, I never really seriously watched that show, but I watched a couple, and then I watched 3 in one sitting, and then 4, and so the first season's done with. But yeah, I'm kind of hooked on that show.
I tell you, it's a great show. I mean, they take a family. They're not afraid to put their faith out in the open, and they're not ashamed to hide firearms or whatever it is that they do. And I give them a lot of credit, and the show is hilarious. It really is truly funny.
Although I got to say, I'm a little nervous every time Willie takes out his Glock. Was a Glock 17 or something? He like that one time he took his teenage daughter's boyfriend, first boyfriend, out snake hunting or something.
Oh, snake hunting, yeah.
He saw a snake and he emptied the whole magazine into it.
That was hilarious. I don't know if you probably didn't catch it, but yesterday was their Halloween special.
Oh, yeah. And so I'm not up to the current ones. So
Phil was carving pumpkins with the kids, and then the kid said that the pumpkin needed a beard, so he went and he put the pumpkin on a post, and he took out his 12-gauge shotgun, and he carved the pumpkin.
Well, that's what Hickok 45 does on YouTube.
Does he really?
Yeah, every this time of year he always carves a pumpkin with some kind of gun. He'll take it out and actually carve it by shooting it. Yeah, Hickok 45. Check it out on YouTube.
Yeah, I can't do that in New Jersey. I will get locked up.
Yeah, you can't do very much in New Jersey. So the Firearms Insider, is launched and everything. Firearmsinsider.tv. We have even more reviews this week than last week. So thank you, everyone who contributed to the fundraising. We did a 4-week fundraiser where we tried to raise $1,000, which we did. We actually broke our goal. We raised almost 1,400, maybe about 1,500. So you guys
great.
Really blew me away. So that that's going to hosting that site for a whole year, hosting the podcast, and now it's going to building out that website a little more, the little extras. So thank you so much for contributing.
That's great. I
mean, it really blew me away because the first Because things are a little bit delayed when you do a podcast. When you do like a call to action, it's a little bit delayed. But because that first week, just nothing, and then it picked up, and then we surpassed the goal. And I got to say, Robbie really, I mean, he threw in the biggest chunk of that, above and beyond anyone else. So Robbie, thank you so much. You really blew us all away here at the Firearms Radio Network. We can't thank you enough.
Yeah, thank you. That's great stuff.
All right, well, let's get into the main topic. Enough Duck Dynasty talk. So let's talk. Actually, I thought about trying to grow, see if I can compare. Mike can, he can kind of grow a Duck Dynasty beard. So maybe we should do something, some kind of fundraiser or something with Mike's beard.
Mine would take too long, and it would come in all funny looking, patchy.
See, mine's kind of patchy, too. This is the thickest it's ever been, so that's why I'm kind of thinking, So, yes, sporting clays, Jared. I guess you got hooked on this a while back. How'd you get into it?
One of my good buddies, he called me up, and he said, hey, my father and I are going to go out and shoot some sporting clays. Would you like to come? And I've never shot sporting clays before. And so, I've done trap, and I was young when I did it. And so, it's still kind of new to me, still very, very new to me. And so I said, okay, no problem. I got a shotgun, and we went out to the range, and you get up to your stations, and there's just, it's not difficult, but there's a lot of things to learn, how to hit the clays. Sometimes you have to lead the clays or whatnot. But after that first day, I loved it. It was just so much fun. And I think when you go and you go plinking or something, you put some targets out, or if you go to the range, you put your silhouette target out,
right? And
you stand there and you just shoot straight. Well, with sporting clays, they come from everywhere. So you're shooting over here, you're shooting high, you're shooting low. They've got clays that they actually call rabbits, and they roll on the ground and hop, and it mimics rabbit hunting.
Right.
So you've got all this mixed in. It's a ton of fun. It really is.
So kind of, you said you have to go up and stand in like positions. Kind of describe like what this looks like where you stand and where the sporting clays are actually coming out of.
Sure. Well, let's kind of start from the beginning, because it's not just sporting clays. It's really trap, skeet, and sporting clays.
Okay.
And sporting clays is everything combined. So
okay.
So when you talk trap shooting, trap shooting was developed back in the mid 1800s over in England, and they call it trap shooting because they would have real live birds, pigeons, and they would be trapped under a hat, a coat, or a cage, and then they would say pull, release the birds, and then they would shoot the pigeons.
Okay.
All right, so that was how they developed trap shooting, and why it's called trap shooting, because the birds are in there. So by the time of the American Civil War, they actually went from real birds to artificial. And at that time, they were using like glass balls, and they were throwing the glass balls in the air. By the late 1800s, 1880, they evolved into clay targets, and that's what we still use today. So you got trap shooting, which the shooter stands about 16 yards behind the trap house, and when the clays are thrown, they're thrown away from the shooter. So you're going to follow that clay, and you're shooting out into the distance. All right, so that's
right.
The trap shooting.
Like the clay shooting on Duck Hunt on the Nintendo NES, right?
There you go. Yep, exactly. That one episode of Top Shot, I think they were doing trap shooting. It was a team effort. But
yeah, I can't remember. They might have.
Yeah. So anyway, if someone's listening and they saw that episode, there you go. That's trap shooting.
Okay, cool.
So then you have skeet shooting. Now, trap is probably the easiest. Okay, now Skeet is medium, and Skeet is to mimic birds flying across a path. All right, so it's to mimic bird hunting. So the shooter stands in the middle of the course, right, and the clays will be thrown from the left side and from the right side, and you could shoot them one at a time, or you could shoot them as doubles. So in this case, now the clays are going left to right versus away from you. All right. So, and that's skeet shooting. Then you come to sporting clays, and this is, the one that I really like. So sporting clays takes everything. The skeets are the clays are going to be going out away from you. They're going to be coming left or right. There's a variety in trajectory, the angles, speeds, distances, and even the size of the targets will all be different. So the sporting clays is definitely the hardest out of all three. But in my opinion, it's the most fun because you just don't know what to expect. So it's actually referred to as the golf with a shotgun.
Well, I've always wanted to convert a golf course to a shooting range. But I had more of a AR-15 with a golf ball launcher in mind. So
that's awesome. I have a 3-man slingshot that's meant for water balloons, but occasionally we stick golf balls in there, and those go a lot further. But
so you said that shooting or sporting clays has different size targets, so there is actually different size clays?
Yeah, the clays will be bigger or smaller, right? And so
are they any bigger? Are there any bigger ones than the standard ones that like I can buy in the store here, or do they just get smaller than that?
They just get smaller. Yeah, I've never seen them get anything bigger. Okay. So it's usually they just get smaller, and the colors will change.
Need like paper plate size clays. That's what I need.
Normally you see them in the store, and they'll be high vis orange. Mm-hmm. Well, some places you go for the target, and it'll be black.
Really?
So it actually blends in more with the scenery, and it gives it that extra bit of toughness to the one section. So,
wow.
I was saying they call it golf with a shotgun because there's actually 10 to 15 different stations on a typical sporting clays course. So you'll shoot at one station, generally 6 clays, and then you can move on. Then you move on to the next station.
Now, if I remember right, the stations are kind of in almost a triangular formation, coming out from the what'd you call it, the clay house, where they?
Yeah, they can be. It's just how the sporting clays course is laid out.
Okay.
The one I go to, it's out in Pennsylvania. They have them where you're up on a balcony.
Oh, really?
So you're shooting from up high. They have them. You're shooting from angles, or you're shooting down below, and so it's never one set way. It constantly changes, so it gives it a more of a challenging aspect to it.
So did you want to talk a little bit about the scoring, or?
I would say I'm not going to go into the scoring aspect of it because this is a whole new world that I'm just not familiar with. I'm not, by no means I'm not an expert, but I did stay at Holiday Inn Express last night. So that does give me a little bit of more knowledge.
Yes.
No, I think we'll also discuss is the type of guns to use, and then we can also talk a little bit about the ammunition that you can use for it as well.
Can I use my Taurus Judge?
Oh, absolutely.
Really? For real? All right. This is sounding better all the time.
There you go. Typical gun is going to be your shotgun, a 12-gauge shotgun. You could go a little bit lighter. You go a 20-gauge, 16-gauge if you're shooting with your wife or or a child or something that can't handle a 12 gauge shotgun. The barrel length is going to be, for trap shooting, about 30 to 34 inches. It's a longer barrel.
Wow.
And the reason is because that clay is shooting out away from you. And so you're going to want a longer barrel. And then you can even put chokes on the end of the barrel, to tighten your pattern or not. When you're skeet shooting, your barrel length is typically 26 to 30 inches because it could be a shorter distance that you're shooting at. Like I said, they're not going out. They're more going left to right. And then when you're doing sporting clays, you can really use whatever you're comfortable with as far as barrel length, because those clays are going to be doing different things. So typically, you'll see guys go to the course and they'll have 2 or 3 different kinds of shotguns with them. And either it's over-unders or pump action or semi-automatics, but usually it's because of the barrel lengths. So they'll want to shoot a longer barrel or they want to shoot a shorter barrel.
So can you switch between guns during like a match or whatever?
I don't believe so. I think you're married to what you start off with.
So just depending on whether it's trap, skeet, or sporting clays, that's going to vary on what particular shotgun you use.
Correct. Now, typically, you see most of the guys using over-under shotguns because clays are either thrown in pairs, doubles, or you're going to throw one and then you're going to throw the other. So it's 2 shots per your turn.
Oh, that's it. And then someone else goes next, so you don't have to necessarily do a reload, or?
No, I usually do a reload. Usually up there for 6 shots in total.
Okay, so
yeah.
6 shots or 6 pairs?
6 shots.
So they may come in 2 at a time, you said?
Then you shoot less. Yes. Then you would just go. Okay. If you want to shoot doubles, then you would just go 3 times. Then, yeah. A typical, it's 50 to 100 clays. Depending on how much fun or how much abuse you want to go out for, because you pull that trigger 100 times on a 12 gauge shotgun, your shoulder's going to feel it the next day.
Yeah, sure.
So, but now that's what we love about sporting clays, is that it's so different. You get a bunch of friends out there or whatever. It can even go by yourself if you want to do that as well. But it's a different bunch of scenarios. You can shoot different kinds of shotguns. It's just a lot of fun.
So what type of ammo, what type of shells do you usually shoot, you personally?
As far as brand or shot size or?
Yeah, shot size, length.
I'm usually shooting 2 3/4 to the 3-inch shot shell. Typically, we get about 8 shots per shell. Shotgun shells aren't that expensive. You get a box of 25 target load, like $6 for 25 shells. So it's very inexpensive. So, you want to shoot 100 clays. It's only costing you, $20, $25 just
sure. Yeah.
An ammunition, which is a lot cheaper.
Right. Or you can go to Walmart, buy the cheap stuff for $20 for 100.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'm showing New Jersey prices, but that's what we pay.
Oh yeah, your Walmarts probably can't even sell ammo. What am I saying?
You're right. Actually, our Walmarts do not even carry guns. They carry nothing. It's just.
I'm so sorry. Ours took guns out for about 10 years, but they're back. But apparently we're too close to Chicago, so we can't have AR-15s in our Walmarts.
Yeah, unbelievable. So, but I go out to the sporting clay range. I have a Remington 870 pump action. Love that gun. Shoots great. My buddy, he's got an Ithaca over-under shotgun. and that's got the shorter barrel length, 26-inch barrel length on it. And we bring both the guns, and we just alternate. If it's a shorter bird being thrown, we'll just use the over-under shotgun, or if it's a longer shot, we'll use the 870 because I got a 20-inch barrel length on that. That's pretty much it, Jake. It's
very cool. So, did you want to go over kind of the origination of sporting clays itself? I see here in the notes that you actually say it originated from an article in a 1980 edition of Field and Stream.
Yes, I almost drew a blank on what you're discussing there, but sporting clays was very popular in England. All the British schools, they were doing it. They were using it to practice game shooting out there. And then Bob Brister from Field and Stream magazine was over in England, and he saw this, and he came back and he wrote this article in the July 1980 magazine release discussing the sporting clays, and it just caught like wildfire. And now it's everywhere. It seems to be it's a big family attraction, and sporting clays is a good time.
So it's relatively, it's really not that old. It's relatively new. It's right up there with like USPSA. I think that came about in the early 80s, and Cowboy. So it's kind of up there with the other shooting sports as far as age goes.
Yeah, as far as age goes, in the United States, absolutely correct. Yeah.
Well, very, very cool. I see skeet is a Norwegian word for shot.
Yes, back, I can't think of who it was that started skeet shooting. I have to go to Wikipedia and pull this up for you guys, but I don't have time for that. But anyway, you saw this sport going on, wanted to bring it over, make it more of a world sport, and so they needed a name. And someone came up with skeet, and it's Norwegian for the word shoot. So, I don't know, one of those goofy little trivia facts there.
Maybe we should talk a little bit about some of this equipment that they use to throw these are pretty amazing. I've seen these before, these clay pigeon throwers, but it's like a massive machine that you can preload, like it's like hundreds.
It's so cool. Yeah, these trap houses. Yeah, it's like there's so many different kinds. There's everything from the basic hand thrower, okay, which is just like a long stick, almost like a lacrosse kind of thing. You put the pigeon in there, the clay in there, and you just kind of whip it, and it'll fly up in the air. So you can do hand throwing, and then you can even do the fancier ones where it's got like two wheels and the clay sits in there, and you pull the string and it flings the skeet out. And that's more if you're got a few more dollars to spend, and you could do that. And you could pick those up at Cabela's or any sporting goods store. And then you got the fancy ones that you'll see at the sporting clays courses, and those are the ones that you're kind of saying in these trap houses, and they must be like 100 clays inside these things, and it's all mechanical. At the stations that you plug in like a little remote control into the outlet, and you push the one button for the first clay, you push the second button for the second clay, and they have a third button to push if you want to throw a double out there. And they load these things up in the morning. They must go through a couple hundred clays before they have to go out and reload the machines.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of these. They must have almost 1,000 on this one. It's incredible.
Oh, yeah, it's probably a monster.
There's one. Now I don't know if this pertains to any of these shooting sports we talked about, but there's one called like Crazy Quail or something, and it'll like shoot them randomly all across the horizon. Like you just load it up and it'll randomize the shooting order.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty neat, the technology they have for this kind of stuff. But
Oh, no, go ahead.
So tell me about that culture of like going out to shoot, trap skeet or sporting clays. What is it? A bunch of old guys out there, or what kind of age range do you see?
What's great about this, Jake, is you see all different kinds of age ranges. I mean, you do see the older gentlemen. They go out there and they'll wear more of the traditional garb of sporting clays. They'll have the fancy shooting vests, the pants, the boots, the special shooting glasses, about $250 to $300. The electronic earmuffs, the fancy shooting leather gloves, and then you'll see guys like you and I. They'll just go out in a pair of jeans, a sweatshirt, your shooting glasses, and a baseball cap. I was out about 2 weeks ago, and they just finished a big women's league. And I was just sitting on the bench. I was just, kind of having a soda, and all these different age women, from teenage girls to grandmas or whatever. I mean, they weren't, like 90, but, older women, more mature women, were all out shooting.
You're handling these age descriptions so much better than I would.
You just can't offend someone, I don't say some old bag, you want to. But that's what's wonderful. And then you'll go out and you'll see fathers with their younger children and showing them the shotgun safety, how to load the gun properly, how to keep the bead on the target. Maybe they have to lead the target, and it's nice. It's across the board. That's what's so wonderful about this sport, and it's so wonderful to see one generation passing off to the next generation. And I think that's what we need is to bring children more into the shooting culture, is to get them out there.
Right, for sure.
Go with them. And, my wife and I don't have any children yet, but one day when we do, one of the things I want to do is bring my son or bring my daughter out there and do this together. And my wife, she goes, I'll go out and I'll shoot the sporting clays with you. And a buddy of mine, he's got a 20 gauge shotgun, something a lot lighter, less recoil. And she won't do 100 clays, but she'll, do about 25, 30 clays, and then she'll just push the button for me. So that's what's really wonderful, Jake, is that you see such a mixture of people out there. The culture is really widespread.
Now, how long does it take to shoot a round? What do you call it? A round of sporting clays or a round of skeet?
Yeah, it depends on how large the course is that you're at. The one I go to has 13 stations, and they're expanding. And I think I mentioned this maybe a couple Gun Guy Radio episodes earlier, but the place I go to is so big. It was an old quarry. It was an old factory that ran down. They bought the property, and you can walk the course. It's all paved walkways, or you can get a golf cart with a gun rack.
Nice. Now you're talking.
Yeah, and you load up all your equipment and everything, and you can drive around to the different stations. Typically, if everything is moving good, an hour and a half to shoot the 13 different stations. If you're,
that's not bad.
like I said, like some stations maybe you just don't want to shoot it. Maybe it's a difficult station.
Yeah.
And so then at other stations you might want to shoot, 8 clays or 10 clays, and
so yeah. So like you could take the wife out or a buddy out for in a couple hours. You could be in and out. Would you say?
Yeah, absolutely.
See That's much more appealing for a lot of reasons than like doing IDPA or USPSA, that type of shooting sports, because that's at least a half-day event. In my area, it's a whole-day event just because so many people come out for these. And so being something that would be just a few hours, that's pretty appealing. From bringing a new shooter type of perspective in.
Yeah, exactly. You could get together, you go out, an hour, 2 hours, whatever, and then you go to the diner and you get a bite to eat or something afterwards or whatever. Yeah, it's not an all-day event.
No, I'm going to see.
It's not bad at all.
I'm going to see if the name Ultimate Sporting Clays is taken, because you just gave me an idea for a new version of this, and it has to do with shooting these from a moving golf cart. So
oh, Lord.
Don't go buy Ultimate Sporting Clays. It's mine.com.
I'm going to wear a helmet.
Helmets, heck. Well, very cool. Yeah, you got me wanting to come check it out, especially since it sounds like you can really use pretty much any shotgun you might already have. You can maybe start out with. Would that be right?
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing is, depending upon the course that you're at, like I said, they might have a barrel length minimum.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so the course that I shoot at, they don't allow anything under 24 inches.
Okay.
So,
But if you had an 870, like I used to have a police model 870, but I could get a trap barrel for that and just
absolutely
pop it on. So that'd be a real possibility.
Yeah, absolutely. You just get a different barrel to put on it.
Because you can get those anywhere. Like Cabela sells 870 barrels, or Mossberg 500. They're widely available. You can just pick one up, pop it on your home defense gun, go shoot, come back, pop up your home defense barrel back on. You're good to go. Yeah,
absolutely. And like you said, I have a Remington 12 Remington, a Winchester 1200. And it was a shorter barrel home defense shotgun.
Okay.
And I measured it. It was, too short. And like you said, there was a Cabela's down the road. I picked up an extra, barrel that I think it was about 26 inches on there. It was so easy. And then there you go. Then you could, like you said, you could bring any shotgun you want out there.
Right. Now, what about a like a Sega? I guess it'd have to have a long enough barrel, but is there like a magazine round limit?
Well, typically 2 rounds is shot at a time.
Hey, we're just buddies here. We don't have to play completely by the rules.
Absolutely. Sure, I'm sure it's happened. But very much frowned upon.
That just leaves an opening in my Ultimate Sporting Clays venture. So
I have a 7+1 magazine, load on there.
Well, I'm thinking of a big, 30-round drum magazine for a Sega. So.
Oh, Lord.
All right. Well, I guess, is that about wrap it up? Any final thoughts on Sporting Clays, Trapper, Skeet?
We were talking before the show, and there's so much to Trap, Skeet, and Sporting Clays that I haven't even done any justice to. The history, the Olympic aspect of it. I mean, there's just so much. So, everyone listening, I was just giving you a brief overview, what I enjoy about it, what I find is really enjoyable about the sport itself. And then who knows, maybe down the road, Jake and I can do a more detailed podcast on it. But I really encourage everyone, check it out, see if there's a range or a course near you, and at least just stop by and just watch. And But I think once you give it a shot, no pun intended, you'll be hooked like I was.
Thank Duluth Trading Company for sponsoring this episode of Gun Guy Radio. You can go to gunguyradio.com/Duluth, and heck, you can probably even find a nice jacket or vest that would work for sporting clays, at least to start out with.
Oh, absolutely.
Gun Guy Radio is brought to you in part by Duluth Trading Company, where you can find free swinging flannel shirts, Shoreman's fleece jackets, wild boar footwear, and buck naked boxers. For clothes that are plain built better, go to gunguyradio.com/Duluth. And don't forget to tell them you listen to Gun Guy Radio.
Welcome back to the Gun Guy Radio Product Spotlight, and we have Paul Levy on the line, our correspondent from Brownells. Hey, Paul.
Hey, Jake. How's it going?
Oh, it's going great. I guess you found another AR-15 item here. Wait, you brought an AR-10 to the show?
Yeah, it's a 308 AR. This is a DPMS pattern 308. But we like to hit on AR products, but this one, it's not too often that you see really innovative stuff for the AR. There's just so much stuff out there. But one innovative company who always impresses me is JP. John Paul and the team up there in Minnesota, they do amazing stuff. Of course, they're well known for their precision rifles. They're extremely well-built ARs, probably some of the best ARs in the industry. But their accessories also are very impressive. Always great machine work. They're well thought out. They don't put out poor products. It's always good stuff from JP. And one of their newest items, an item that I'm pretty excited about, is the silent capture spring. I have the 308 version here. This is also available for AR-15s. It's going to look pretty much the same, but they use a different spring, and the dimensions might be a little different. But This replaces your buffer and your buffer spring in your AR-15 or 308 AR. So instead of having that buffer and spring and hear that sproing each time you shoot, this replaces that, hence silent capture. There's no springy sound. The spring is captured here. It comes out all as one assembly, so low maintenance. It's basically, this butts up against the rear of the bolt carrier, and then the rod goes through the rear of the bolt carrier and, of course, returns it into battery when the rifle fires.
So for audio listeners, I guess it has a big stopper on the front and the back with a rod,
Correct.
And it's a smaller rod than like a traditional buffer tube.
Yeah, basically think of a pistol guide rod inside of your AR buffer tube, and it also has a rubber buffer on the rear, a very hard rubber buffer on the rear. And there's two large bearings on the front that is essentially the buffer somewhat that actually move. And those are always affixed to the rear of the carrier. And I imagine this helps a little bit with bolt bounce too when it returns it into battery. That's not going to bounce at all when it goes back in. This is the 308 version here. This here would go into a collapsible stock buffer tube. But the nice thing is they don't sell two different items. What you get with each one, the AR-15 or the 308, is this plug here. And you just place that behind it, and then it's good to work in your rifle stock.
That's awesome.
Pretty nice of JP to include this, cut down on the amount of items you have to look at buying. They also recently came out with replacement spring kits. So you can fine-tune this to work with your whatever rifle you have, and it's specifically intended to work with their low mass carriers and their adjustable gas blocks. So if you get those three things on your rifle and a whatever muzzle brake, they make some very effective muzzle brakes. So you get those four things, and you can get a pretty soft shooting rifle once you get everything tuned up. Just briefly here's the 308 low mass from JP. You can kind of see how it's tapered down towards the back. You use this in conjunction with the silent capture spring, and it's really pretty impressive what you can do with 308. It's pretty soft shooting, and you can put these in your existing 308 pattern rifle if you don't have the money to spend on a complete JP rifle. So that's what's great about these individual components. And I got a 308 AR here. It's a DPMS pattern. Well, I'll go ahead and throw this together real quick, just so you get an idea of how smooth this action sounds compared to the normal grinding you hear.
Right, and we're talking about 308 a lot, but it's also available for standard AR-15
Correct. Yep. I want to make sure that's clear. Yep. It's available for standard AR-15s with a fixed or a collapsible stock. Either way, it works in both. And here it gives you an idea how that fits into the receiver. There's the face of that, the silent capture spring. Just fits right in there. Here, let me show that a little bit better. Just installs. You have to take out the buffer. The buffer retainer, so that has to be removed. Otherwise, this won't go in, or it's almost permanent once you put it in. I made that mistake. It wasn't fun to get back out, but that drops in like so, and you can kind of see it in there how that functions.
So you don't need that buffer retainer anymore with this one?
Nope, no buffer retainer, because when you take this down, it's not going to shoot out the buffer or anything.
It's self-contained.
Yeah, it'll just come out like that, but that's not shooting out across your shop, and you're never going to find it again. Here, I'll install it here on the upper receiver, just so you can kind of get an idea of how this sounds. That's basically all you're hearing is the bolt locking up. You're not hearing that spring go, and it's just smooth. It's just like everything JP makes. If you've ever handled one of their rifles, it's like everything's on bearings. It's always well made. So you combine that with their low mass carrier, adjustable gas block, and a muzzle device. It's pretty impressive.
Well, very cool. Now you have 2 rifles that you own that I want to shoot.
All right, yeah, I need to get some optics on this guy here, but yeah, it's a fun shooting. It's fun to shoot this one. 308 ARs are definitely a pleasure to shoot. It's a platform that is going to grow in popularity just because you can do so much with it.
All right. Well, I'm shooting your ammo, so I don't need optics. I'm going to just shoot it into the berm.
I don't know when we decided that, but okay.
What? The other night, don't you remember?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Hopefully Brownells is paying that.
Well, very cool. So the JP Silent Spring System is available at Brownells, and you can follow a link at gunguyradio.com/spotlight. And whether it's the AR-10 or AR-15 or 308 5.56 version, it's going to run right around $338 or $3.
$137.99.
$137.99.
Yep, it's a quality part, and then the replacement spring kits, they're $24.99. So once you get it, try it out, and then you can even tune it to whatever your rifle shooting.
So those spring packs, they have like different like weight.
Yep.
How do you say it? Different retention springs or different.
Different strengths on the spring.
Strengths. So there you go.
Yeah. So if your rifle's a little harsher recoiling, you can put in a stiffer spring that maybe soften it up, or the other way around. Basically something to tune the rifle to whatever ammo you're shooting as well. So
right.
With an adjustable gas block, you can spend a lot of time at the range getting everything tweaked just right.
Yeah, I'd want to set it once and not mess with it again.
Yeah. I just have the silent capture spring. I haven't tried out the alternates yet, but it shoots well with just the stock kit. I imagine if I spent some time tuning this, it'd be pretty impressive.
Well, very cool, Paul. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.
All right. See you then.
Let's dive into the weekly giveaways. So, giving away $20 in Brownells gift cards. And this week I drew a winner, and winner is Sandy Johnston. So, Sandy, congrats. You won 2 $10 Brownells gift cards. And you, listening or watching, you can subscribe to our email newsletter list by going to gunguyradio.com/winner. gunguyradio.com/winner, and you'll be entered for life. And I think in a week or two here, we're going to be switching up the giveaways, so stay tuned for that.
How's a free gift card to Brownells sound? Pretty wicked awesome, right? Go to gunguyradio.com/winner and sign up for our email newsletter to enter for a chance to win. There's a winner every week, but you only have to enter once. Thanks, Brownells.
That brings us to feedback. So we have two feedbacks here. So Manuel says, what a great show, and I agree with you. Things are moving towards, if content providers don't make their shows available in a format available, then in any format available, then they are doomed. Our generation, I am 35, are thankfully young enough that to have caught some of the changes. Our kids will basically never read a newspaper, magazine, or know what a channel is. Most will barely ever use or see a stamp. They, as well as some of us, want to watch content anytime on any device. Have a nice week. And these are referring to last episode, where, in case you missed it was titled "Can the Gun Community Cut the Cord?" Something like that. The firearms community cut the cord, about moving into an age where we can stream any like gun-related TV show, news show, radio show from any device, anytime, on demand, just like these podcasts. But Ben, he wrote in, and this is something I did not know. He says, you mentioned on last episode that you're not able to stream Michael Bain's shows. I asked Outdoor TV the same question last week, and it turns out you can get the shows online. Visit myoutdoortv.com, and you can pay $5 per month for the whole archive of shows. I haven't signed up yet, so I don't know how soon the new episodes are available after they air. So this is really appealing to me. It's looks like it's an outdoor network. It's myoutdoortv.com. So you can try it for 7 days, and I just haven't had time to try it out. It looks like you have to stream it off your computer, though. I don't see that they stream, or your iPad, or iPhone, or Android, or tablet. But as far as like a set-top streaming device, like a Roku player, Apple TV, or like a smart TV, I don't see that you can do that with this, which would be kind of a deal breaker for me, because I'm not going to sit in front of my computer. I want to stream it on my TV. But there's that new Google Chromecast that you can stream anything in your Chrome browser. So it may work with that. I just haven't. I'll try it out, and I'll get back to you. But it looks like the good TV shows are on here, like Gun Stories, Cowboys. Let's see here. So it looks like some of the new ones, and it's Shooting Gallery, The Best Defense Survival, Shooting USA's Impossible Shots, and then there's Hunting, Fishing, Off-Road, Adventure. So for $5 a month, if there's really a lot on here, and if I can use Chromecast to throw it up on my TV, I think I'm sold. But this is exactly what I was talking about last episode. So thanks, Ben. Thanks so much. About wraps it up. You can go to gunguyradio.com to leave us an iTunes review. And actually, I wanted to ask everyone to leave an iTunes review for all the other Firearms Radio Network shows, especially the new ones, like We Like Shooting, Precision Rifle Podcast, Competitive Rifle Podcast, Handgun Radio, all the newer shows. If you could go leave them an iTunes review, that would help them out a lot in the rankings up there on iTunes. So really appreciate that. About wraps it up, Jared. Thank you so much for coming on Gun Guy Radio once again. Oh, absolutely! I really appreciate you having me on. And Jake, I just want to settle this right now. I'm from New Jersey. No, I cannot get you Snooki's phone number from the Jersey Shore.
So I hope that's not why you asked me to be on today. So
are you in my Netflix queue? Are you?
She is on Dancing with the Stars this season, though, so you could catch up with her then.
See, I had no idea who you were even talking about, whether or not that was a boy or a man. So I'm at least a little relieved it was a lady. So, and don't forget to use our Brownells affiliate link by going to gunguyradio.com/satisfaction, or you can click any of the banners on the website as well. All right, well, that about wraps it up. So you can send feedback to jake@gunguyradio.com. Record a voicemail message using the SpeakPipe plugin on the right-hand side of the website. And also remember to leave us those iTunes reviews or on the podcast app on your iPhone, iOS device, iPad, and also, Facebook.com/GunGuyRadio, GunGuyRadio.com/091 for this week's show notes. And we have a few links to Sporting Clays information. And also remember, join the NRA and Second Amendment Foundation.
Absolutely.
And, don't forget to check out the other shows on the Firearms Radio Network. Check out that Android app that has all the shows on it. Check out the master feed on iTunes. If you just search Firearms Radio, look for the iTunes feed that is the big Firearms Radio logo with a white background. That will get you all the shows. I mean, personally, that's how I listen to the shows on the network. I don't subscribe to each individual feed except to monitor, them for testing purposes, but to make sure they're functioning. But I just pull everything off the master feed. It's simple. It's all right there. Real easy to stream or download. So, well, that's about it, Jared. Thank you so much again, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, thanks again, Jake.
This has been a production of the Firearms Radio Network. You can find more information at firearmsradio.tv.